How are you doing? Welcome to Wisdom Moments on K24 with me, CJ Atemo, and a brand new month, a happy new month to you, the month of November. Well, here we are, getting close to the end of the year. Who would have thought that we would have been here right now? See, this year really started off on a very difficult note for most people. There was the escalation of the cases of COVID-19. Many people were losing their loved ones. It was so crazy being on social media because each and every day you would be seeing people who would be mourning somebody passing. But here we are. Well, it's been a tough year, but then we are grateful that we've got life and we are coming to the end of this year at least. Well, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel, CJ Atemo? If you haven't done that, kindly do so. Just head on to YouTube and subscribe to CJ Atemo. You will find material there that will uplift you. So these videos get uploaded right there. And so you also need to set notifications just to get to know whenever we do that. Watch, like, post a comment, and share the videos as well. You want to interact at a personal level? Well, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on LinkedIn as CJ Atemo. If you want to do that a bit more officially, you want to get in touch, want to send an invitation for a speaking engagement, you want to get some counseling, you want to get some coaching, you just need to personally engage, then you can reach me on email, that is cjatsol@gmail.com. Well, the month of November always accords us the opportunity to celebrate men because somewhere along the line in this month, we're going to have the International Men's Day. And a lot of people say so much about men. We talk about, is the boy child really set out ready for life? And I don't even understand why they will be including people who are over 40, they'll be calling them the boy child. There's so much that is said about men out over there and the effort that is put in the raising of the men. But I also feel that there is a way in which there are a lot of people that also just take advantage of those kind of cliche statements and saying the boy child has been neglected just for them to exhibit bad behavior or something. But that's not what I want to talk about today or this week. I want to talk about the battles men face. That's what we'll be talking about, the battles men face. And the first battle that I will talk about today is the battle of identity. The battle of identity. Generally, every man wants to know who he is. And because of this, they will look for all kinds of things just to try and affirm that identity. They will want to, get their identity either from their peers. The first place they always will look at, of course, is their fathers. But sometimes the fathers are not present. Even when they physically are present, they are probably emotionally absent, or they just disconnected. Sometimes it's not even that they want to disconnect, they just don't know how to be present in that space. They don't know how to bring up conversations. It is easier when the boys are little, when they are 3 years or 4 years, when they're just these toddlers and babies, when they begin to grow and get into the stage of their teenage, and they also begin to assert their own personality, their mind, their will, it becomes a bit difficult to have conversations with them unless they're willing to open up. And a lot of fathers then begin to lose their sons at that particular point because they don't know how to strike conversations. Everything is very bottom line. It's always, monosyllables that are being used. It's a yes, it's a no, it's a hi, it's a hi. And if you do not know how to just dig out conversations, they won't really get it. But a lot of them then begin to struggle with finding out who they are. So one of their greatest questions will be, who am I? And that identity, that battle for identity, sometimes pushes them into a space that nearly would be seen as rebellion. Because growing up, most people would find their identity in their lineage. That means that they find their identity through the family they've come from. I'm a son of so-and-so. So they will have the surname of their fathers or their families. And they have had a structured life, both around family and school and society. They've been structured and they have been made to live by certain norms. They have been made to conform to certain norms. So when they begin to try to find their identity, their thinking is that to find themselves, they have to break away from everything they have known. That's the thinking. So they begin to try to define themselves outside of what they have always known. And it becomes nearly like a revolution, becomes nearly like a rebellion. They don't want anything to do with what they have known before because they think that what they have known before has caged them. Sometimes people get to the place where they come face to face with who they are internally. They begin to understand who they are internally. But some people take long. They can take 20 years trying to find out who they are. So what they will do is they will look for themselves in everything. So they will go into drugs and alcohol and probably think if they have more women, then they will find themselves because they're trying to define themselves. They're trying to define themselves as powerful. They're trying to define themselves as a man. And maybe they heard that if you're a man, you have to have this multiple ladies in your life, or you must have so much money, or you have to have this kind of an image, or you've got to go to the gym and build your muscles and stuff. So they do a lot of things because they are trying to find their identity and receive the affirmation of that identity as a man. If you are not confident and comfortable in your skin and who you are on the inside, you will keep running and running and running. The person you're trying to look at, or rather the person you're trying to look for, is the person that you wake up every morning and see in the mirror. That's the person you have to have conversations with. And you will never really get to deal with your identity and dig it out until you confront your fears, until you deal with your aspirations, until you begin to talk about your passions, your desires, and also deal with the flaws that you have. When your identity is a mystery to you, you will always keep running. And there are a lot of people who are trying to gather more and more in life, more money, more houses, more cars, and all that life, all that stuff. But then when they get back to their houses in the evening, they are so empty and they feel they've got to keep on doing that. Well, generally, you will never be too far from the people that you have been with before. It's something that we don't really want to talk about, but as you grow older, you realize that your identity can remain unique without you being isolated. Yes, you can craft your path that is very unique to you, but that does not mean that you totally remain isolated. And it doesn't mean that everything you ever learned or got to know is bad. You can find your identity just like the branches of a tree. They will always find their space and their expression without necessarily disconnecting from the trunk of that tree. They don't have to be cut off and be planted in the soil on their own. So people spend so much time just trying to get to know who are they, and especially for men. They spend so many years trying to find their identity. And for most men, their identity is in power or performance. So if you ask a man, who are you? And also position. If you ask a man, who are you? He will tell you, I'm the manager of this. Or they will tell you what they have achieved, because they mostly define themselves through power, performance, and position. Well, the fourth one, of course, they also define themselves by their possession. Every man has to go past all of that, because you are not the power that you have. You're not the position that you are in. You're not what you possess, and you are not your performance. You got to dig deeper in the battle for identity. This is CJ Atemo. See you next time right here on Wisdom Moments on K24.